This is Steve Gardner from USA Today Sports. You're watching the Fantasy Channel.
I'm with Steve Gardner from the USA Today. And Steve, nice to have you here this morning.
Thank you, Lenny. Glad to be here.
A great place to be, right? That's for sure.
I love the atmosphere, the excitement. Season's on the way. What could you ask for anymore?
Steve has promoted this industry for years at the USA Today. I can only assume that you majored in journalism of some sort to get the kind of job that you did.
I did, as a matter of fact, and I was mostly in radio when I got out of school and just sort of worked into the online thing and kind of added some newspaper and magazine stuff.
So, that sort of thing. As you're taking the journalism classes, and you're struggling your way through and you can't figure out, all right, where I'm going to wind up, did you ever think it would be fantasy sports?
Never in a million years. This is like the dream job too, because we can watch games, we can have our teams, we can analyze things, and you can put the knowledge that you have in learning about baseball and growing up as your career is going and writing about baseball, and put it into having fun. I mean, you can't beat it. You have a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Now, but you were in a position, and a tough position. You followed the icon. You followed John Hunt, and if you don't know who John Hunt was, and John Hunt was the leader of the industry, the leader. In his column in USA Today, John Hunt, he talked about my first radio show, and I'll send you that show. I have it,
wow.
MP3.
That would be wonderful.
We got calls from California, yes, because of John Hunt and what he did. So now you step into the picture, and I'm sure when you stepped in, Steve, the industry was saying, oh, we don't have John anymore. We don't have John at the USA Today to pump us up, put us out there. You've come in, I got to tell you, you've done a remarkable job.
It was frightening, such a huge following that he had built up, and such an impact that he had on this industry. I'm just happy that I don't screw it up. And every day, every season I go into it, just don't screw it up. And so far, they've kept having me back. And here I am. So apparently I haven't screwed it up yet.
And I'm not surprised that you have a radio background, because every time I turn on Sirius XM satellite radio, it's the Steve Gardner Show. You're probably the most prolific guest. I mean, how do you do it? I call you at 6 a.m. Yeah, come on. You're terrific.
I have a lot of friends, people that have shows, and I'm happy to do it. What's better than talking baseball for a living? So you can't beat it.
Absolutely. All right, so here we are now. We've got the Fantasy Sports Channel on the radio. Now we've got the Fantasy Sports Channel launching March 4th on TV.
I'm really excited for you guys.
Is this unreal? What does it mean for you? I mean, you're part of this thing in a big way. You're one of the guys that built this industry up, taking the baton from John Hunt and blowing past everybody.
I think it just shows the popularity of fantasy sports and how it's like a runaway freight train in some respects. I mean, it's got so much momentum behind it. And when you start having radio shows that are popular, that are dedicated to fantasy, and television, a network, for goodness sake, you look at what ESPN did, and I'm sure that's the thought behind all of this. Who thought of sports 24-hour cable channel?
That's right.
The same sort of thing. The interest is there. The fanatic participants are there, and it seems to me to be a no-brainer.
And of course, you've taken the reins of the labor draft, and you'll see we'll be doing pre-game shows on TV. We'll be doing it just like they do the NFL. We'll have pre-game, we'll have post-game, we'll have analysis, the whole thing on TV.
And then people will be second-guessing our picks even more now.
We do it all the time on radio, but on TV, just another dimension. Where do you think we're going from here, Steve? It's when I did the first show in 1993, I knew there was something here. Quite frankly, I'm not shocked, but I am surprised.
It's mind-boggling just to think, the way that the daily games have exploded and how people can play fantasy and just pick it up one day and do it in one shot. People are pressed for time. And it used to be back in the day, you had to invest so much time to do the research when you were trying to do an auction, pick your players and all of that. Now everything is compressed. You have experts telling us some things and saving us time so that we can devote that to the fun part, is playing the games. And I think that's one of the great things about the industry, is that as it moves forward, there are new ways to get more people involved, to make it easier to play. And I think the sky's the limit right now.
Absolutely, and part of it's due to you and what you guys have done at the USA today.
Part.
You've done it well. If there was an Olympic parade, Steve Gardner would be carrying the flag and say fantasy sports. I thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Lenny. It's a pleasure and a privilege.
My privilege to know you.